Alright folks, welcome to another beer review, and left the beer all the way over here. So, great view of my arse. Going back over to Azvex, and we're having a look at Seen Rabbits. Who remembers that cringy period of time? Yeah, Seen girls never got the appeal, but hey ho, it is what it is. They've captured it really well. I do like that. I like that a lot. So this is Seen Rabbits, which is a double IPA, 8% standard, with Nelson, Sauvin, Galaxy and Motueka, or Motueka. I'm not too sure how it's pronounced. But yeah. So the other beer that I had, the other double IPA, which was the Lion's Mane Haircut, I can't remember what it's called, was very Nelson forward. Let's see if this will be the same. But of course it's backed up by Motueka. I know I'm not saying that correctly, so apologies if that's triggered anyone. But yeah, we shall see if it's as musky as that. Camera's odd angle. I'm sure did the camera fall a bit. I don't know. Anyway, using the brand appropriate glassware when it decides it wants to focus. Like a really nice and luminous, sort of like a slightly darker custard, like a lemony hoppy custard. One thing is worth of a white foamy head. Let's see what we get on the nose. It's not like really fruity. It does have almost like a cheese, like the pungency of a cheese. I can't decipher what cheese that would be. But yeah, it's almost got this like yogurty, creamy aroma. It's sweet and fruity, yet savoury, and I can't put my finger on what fruit that would be that I'm picking up. Almost like a very slight soft raspberry nose coming through. It's almost got like a slightly white meat stock, you know, like chicken or pork or something like that. I'm not saying it smells like chicken or pork, but yeah, it's got sort of like a stock pot sort of element to it. Very subtle, but that's what's instantly popping into my head. There's a little bit of a muskiness there, a slight dank character which plays into that ever so slightly savoury. Yeah, it's, oh man, my senses are absolutely failing me because I can't put into proper words what I'm smelling. But it's nice. Maybe a subtle, soft citrus coming through. I've got a feeling this is going to be a very musky, savoury double IPA. I think the Nelson is definitely going to be, yeah, just almost like a very mild cheese, like Jarlsberg or something like that, or like an Emmentaler or Macedama. Yeah, almost like one of those cheeses that you get of a big pretzel at a festival in Germany. It's a very strange selection of tasting notes or smelling notes. Smelling notes? Is that a thing that I'm providing? People are probably going to take one sniff of this and go, oh no, I'll definitely get this and this. And they probably be 100% right. Maybe I'm getting COVID. I don't know. Can we make COVID jokes and comments? Anyway, shut up, Farage. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Wow. Not for me, this one. and I think you'll guess as to why. That Nelson, specifically Nelson, is, oof, it's a potent use of Nelson hops. Again, with beer being so subjective, just because I don't like those flavours does not mean that this is a bad beer. And if you like those pungent, musky, and there is a little bit of a mild cheesiness there, sweaty sock sort of thing, although sweaty shin pads are much more potent in terms of the aroma. But anyway, don't ask me how I know that. You do not need to know how I spend my Sunday evenings. Yeah, very grape-like musk notes on the back end. Even like very slightly teetering on, coming across as a bit of a brute sort of IPA. As if they've like used sort of like a champagne yeast. But of course, that's just coming from the hops themselves, really, isn't it? Galaxy, I mean, do you get like, see, when I think of Galaxy, I think of berries. And maybe there's a generic berry-like sweetness there. Just to help lift the beer slightly. But yeah, musky. My God, is that musky. There's a hint of dankness there. I'm going to say it again, it's not my bag. What am I, like a beat poet from the 50s? It's not my thing. But if these flavours are what you like and these hops are hops that you gravitate to, I would say that's a great utilisation of those hops. The Nelson and Motueka are working a tour de force, I would say, and that Galaxy hop almost seems to be lost a little bit. Yeah, it's very sort of like a champagne yeast aftertaste. Body is fantastic, as you would expect from a double IPA that looks like that. Nice and thick, chewy, satisfying. But I find because it is such a big, thick, chewy mouthfeel, because you're getting those really potent flavours, the lingering aftertaste is like magnified. And I would say it's an unsatisfactory finish for me personally. But you know what? I've had in the last few months beers that I've had the Nelson hop, and you're not really getting any characteristics of the Nelson there, which in my case works absolutely fine. But if you've got these hops and they're known to have these flavours and characteristics, then you want to just like go, is this a sexist term? But balls to the wall, and just go for it. And they've definitely done that. It's big, it's bold. For me, it's an abrasive sort of flavour, but to others, that would just be like they're drinking a glass of heaven. So there's even like this like tea leaf character to it. But yeah, not my thing. Is it too much for me to want to not drink it? No. Is it a well-brewed beer? Definitely. Definitely is. And, you know, it's the classic example. Just because I don't really like it doesn't mean that you won't like it, and definitely means that you shouldn't give it a try. If you're like me and you're not a big fan of these sorts of hops, you probably want to avoid it. But also, if you're like me and you don't like specific hops, you don't like specific styles, you don't like specific yeast strains, you'll still want to every now and then try these beers, just so you can sort of like get an appreciation and understanding, and to not necessarily, you know, try and trick yourself into liking stuff. But yeah, I was actually going to do a review of one of the cans of the Cacao Demon that I had, but I thought it's going to be a wasted experience because I've had a kebab for my tea, which is rested a bit awkwardly on the stomach, so maybe some brown ales tomorrow morning. Well, there's always brown ales because I think it's just like a natural thing for as soon as you wake up to go to the toilet, but it won't be pleasant. And I thought, feeling like this, don't really want to, you know, waste what could be an absolutely beautiful imperial stout, so I'll wait till I'm not feeling lethargic, and it was a mediocre kebab as well, which makes it worse. It's like, I've had much better, but I've had much worse. So I think something like this, and maybe it's because of, maybe it's like the aftertaste of the kebab, which was a couple of hours ago, but I'm one of those people where something lingers on their breath for an insane amount of time, which is very annoying. And which is why I don't kiss many girls. Yeah, even the more that I'm drinking it, the more those sort of like characteristics aren't subsiding. You know, sometimes when you're drinking a beer, even if like the first couple of sips, you're still trying to work out in your head whether you think it tastes nice, and then eventually you get sort of like used to it. It's like each sip is just like boosh, boosh. Quite intense. It's quite an intense beer, actually. Definitely not laid back. But yeah, I would say to conclude, I think it's, on paper, a really good utilisation of the Nelson hop, because that's pretty much what I'm picking up. But like I said, as someone who's not the biggest fan of what Nelson hops bring to the table, then it's just not for me. But I think there'd be a lot of people who'll drink this and say it's like a 10 out of 10 beer, but for me, not so much. But you know what? Not every brewery will release beer after beer after beer that you'll absolutely love and adore. Do you know what I mean? You know, Neon Raptor, one of the best breweries in the UK. Just because I've had a beer I don't like from them doesn't mean I'm going to, you know, not get any more beers from them. And I'm just really thinking that I want to open that Imperial Stout, but it's going to be wasted. It's going to be wasted. Even though I'm sure the beer review I'll be like gushing about it. Anyway, that review will be coming at some point. Don't worry, this is just a slightly, it's a very awkward t-shirt where it's like tight on the sleeves. It's not like my massive, look at them. Look at that. I'm going to do some bare knuckle boxing call out soon, but I don't really know any wrong uns to call out. Anyway, yeah, so Azvex, Seen Rabbits. Not a big fan of Seeing Girls, not a big fan of this beer, but this really awkward joke could go in a direction that I don't want it to go into. So I'm just going to end this video here. So a slightly awkward angle. But yeah, link to Azvex in the description. If you've tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. My new glasses are very reflective. Looks like I'm in like a... Don't go into the basement. it looks like someone's like photoshopped me, because my head and this angle here, it's just not working. It's just not working. Anyway, I've got glasses on like a 90s alternative comedian, and that'll do me fine, because I think that's quite a good aesthetic. Anyway, cheers for watching. You all take care, take safe, and I shall take safe. Shut up.